Hello, we have another laptop for repair. In this video we have an HP 17-E167EG. The problem with this one, it's obviously not powering on. When you connect the charger, the only thing that happens, I don't know if you can see it, press the power button and the power LED flashes 3 times. So that's the only thing. This is with the original charger. If we connect the bench power supply, we're gonna see that when you press the power button, there is no power draw, only the LED flashes and nothing else. So first of all, this happens with and without the battery, so the laptop doesn't charge the battery. This may be due to the battery being dead, but we don't know yet. And also I tried another charger, so maybe if this was broken, but it's the same thing. The tip looks okay, so there is no physical damage on the DC jack. So I think that this is probably due to a broken charging IC, or maybe one of the two MOSFETs, BIOS, or the Super I/O controller. Something of this. I'm gonna disassemble the laptop and then we're gonna see what's going on. So I forgot to mention that I have disconnected the CMOS without from after removing the back cover and test it, but there was no difference. The only thing I can see so far is that this is fixed somehow, and maybe that's the problem, but I'm not sure yet. So we're gonna take some measurements and see how it goes. So here I'm checking that we have 19 volts on the second MOSFET, and checking that the first and second are okay. Also that there is 3.3 volts on the Super I/O. Everything looks okay. Checking the resistance on all the main coils. Also everything looks okay. Checking that the cables are not shorted between them. Checking the center pin. Checking that the 3.3 volt on the power boot. Now I'm checking with the battery. Checking the voltage on the battery and charging the battery externally to see if there is any difference. The battery charges externally, but there is no difference. Now I'm marking the BIOS orientation, removing the BIOS chip, and I will flash the BIOS to see if there is any difference. I was almost sure that the BIOS wasn't the problem, but it's always good to double check. So I flashed the BIOS, now I'm resoldering back to the motherboard. Testing again after I let it cool down. Same thing, no difference. So now I will remove the glue from the power jack to see if any of the cables is disconnected or if they are connected okay. And everything is okay with the power button. I just resoldered the red cable better, but no difference. So last thing I'm gonna try is removing the Super I/O and putting a new one. I have a preheater underneath, so it's easier to remove and resolder. So the Super I/O wasn't shorted or anything. I checked all the pins, but it wasn't sending the signal to the chipset to continue the power on procedure. And also the Super I/O is not programmable, so there was no need to try and reprogram it. The main BIOS is responsible for the Super I/O portion of booting. Now I'm checking the pins to see if everything is okay and not all pins are soldered. Super I/O is okay, so I'm just gonna clean the area of the Super I/O and the BIOS area underneath, and all that's left is to try to boot the motherboard to see if everything is okay. So I tried a different tip first, just to make sure. Now I'm trying with the bench power supply, so you can see that it's charging the battery. We have an orange light, and so in the end we fixed it. I'm gonna show you. Press the power button. You see the fan starts, and wait, I'm gonna restart and enter BIOS. So what ended up being the problem? The Super I/O was defective. Even though I saw the schematic, I checked the pins. No pins were shorted, but the pin that sends the signal to the chipset was not being produced, and after checking the usual things like flashing the main BIOS, trying another cable, another charger, another CPU, and trying to power it on without the power button, the next logical thing was to change the Super I/O, and that was the problem. So if you end up having this problem, you may also try changing the Super I/O. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching.